Sophie and JC were ejected. Alan was also ejected. You've seen all the clips by now. You've seen all of the different angles, and you've probably heard everybody's take on the situation. But in today's video, I want to talk about the aftermath to all of that. It has been less than 48 hours, and so much has happened. So let's start by talking about how the foul situation, the technicals, and the flagrants ended up shaking out. There was this tweet by Alexa Filippo, and she said, Marina Mabrey's technical foul from the Fever Sun game has been upgraded to
a recent video covering the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun matchup achieved significant online traction, reaching the 15th position on YouTube's global trending list. The coverage examined multiple controversial incidents that occurred during the contest. The game featured several notable confrontations, beginning with JC Sheldon making contact with Caitlin Clark's face, followed by a brief altercation between the two athletes. Marina Mabrey then unexpectedly pushed Clark to the floor. Later in the contest, Sophie Cunningham delivered a hard foul against JC Sheldon, escalating into a comprehensive melee involving multiple participants. The incident resulted in ejections for Sophie, JC, and Alan, with footage capturing various perspectives of the confrontation.
Make it make sense. For me, please. For me, please. Please, make it make sense. Sophie Cunningham took a page out of Spider's playbook. Sophie Cunningham with Anderson Silva versus Chris Leben. God, this is so funny. I mean, the memes that is coming out of this is hysterical. It is just hysterical, guys. I ain't gonna hold you.
The most widely circulated footage showed Sophie Cunningham's forceful contact with JC Sheldon and the subsequent confrontation involving additional players. The Suns head coach criticized the action, expressing bewilderment at committing such a foul while leading by 7. He characterized it as disrespectful and questioned the ejections of Lindsay Allen and JC Sheldon, who he felt were uninvolved in initiating the conflict. However, this incident represented more than random aggression during a decisive victory. The foul appeared to be a calculated statement addressing accumulated tensions. Previous encounters between these teams had featured JC Sheldon injuring Sydney Colson and contributing to Sophie Cunningham's own injury. Multiple factors created a volatile atmosphere where emotions reached a breaking point, leading to Cunningham's decisive action.
Flagrant 2, the league told ESPN. A flagrant 2 comes from a standard fine. Additionally, Sophie Cunningham was fined separately for her hard foul with 40 seconds left to play. No players will be suspended. And a lot of fans were really upset about this because if Marina Mabrey's foul during the game was called a flagrant 2, like it was upgraded to, then she would have been ejected during the game. And I don't think any of this stuff with Sophie and JC would have happened at the end of the game if the ref.
Public opinion largely supported Cunningham's response. Fans expressed exhaustion with the escalating physicality and inconsistent officiating that potentially endangered player safety. Many celebrated her as an enforcer willing to protect teammates, with some labeling her actions heroic. This sentiment translated into immediate commercial success, as Cunningham's jersey sold out completely overnight across all sizes. This outcome was predictable given fan loyalty patterns. Social media predictions about jersey sales proved accurate within 24 hours. Front Office Sports reported that both the Pacers and Fever organizations faced unprecedented merchandise demand, forcing temporary limitations on online inventory. Team representatives acknowledged receiving approximately 1,000 orders nightly, describing the volume as impossible to anticipate. This surge demonstrates the unwavering devotion of Indiana Fever supporters, who consistently sell out venues, drive television viewership, and translate enthusiasm into purchasing power through merchandise and jersey sales. The loyalty extends to supporting players who defend their teammates and principles.
They ain't playing no games about Sophie, boy. Now, there was some other things that came out in the media today. Let me see here. Marina Mabrey. No, we ain't gonna talk about her. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. What Sophie Cunningham did, she stood on business, bro. Sophie Cunningham stood on business about her.
Cunningham's actions may also influence all-star voting, as fan input significantly impacts selection. Her overnight reputation enhancement among supporters could translate into electoral success, having earned respect through a single play that demonstrated team loyalty and self-advocacy. While many fans supported Cunningham, others criticized the hard foul and advocated for more severe punishments. Some extreme responses included creating a petition demanding her removal from the league. The Change.org petition titled "Remove Sophie Cunningham from the WNBA for Misconduct" featured her image with a red X overlay. Investigation revealed this petition garnered merely 28 signatures, highlighting its lack of genuine support.
Would have gotten control of the game much earlier on, and I do think if they would have ejected Marina Mabrey during that whole play when she completely blindsided Caitlin, it wasn't a basketball play, it was after the whistle. If she would have been ejected at that point in time, I think it would have set the tone for the rest of the game. The refs did not have control over the players. They did not have control over the game for pretty much the entire game. The game was chippy from the jump. It was physical from the jump. There were dirty plays that were happening from the jump, and the referees didn't do their job.
The petition appears excessive, considering Cunningham's foul was relatively minor compared to other aggressive plays witnessed throughout recent seasons. Additional social media discussions revealed Cunningham's martial arts background, including achieving black belt status at age 6 and her high school football experience as a kicker. These details added context to her physical capabilities and competitive nature. The Fever vs. Sun matchup attracted 624,000 viewers on NBA TV, surpassing the Chicago Sky vs. Liberty game on ESPN, which drew 606,000 viewers despite broadcasting on a larger network. This represented 150% increase over NBA TV's season average of 249,000 viewers. The Indiana Fever continues generating superior viewership across the WNBA, while occasionally exceeding NBA TV ratings.
Your friend Caitlin Clark, bro, and that was honorable what she did, bro. That was honorable. I'm sorry, bro. I will forever justify this. I am sorry, bro. That was honorable what she had done for Caitlin, bro. What did Rachel Dementa say? What did Rachel say about this?
If the refs are not going to do their job, the players are going to have to be the enforcers themselves. This game was chippy from the beginning, and the refs...
Various media personalities and political commentators have offered opinions on these events. However, one particularly problematic commentary came from Stephen A. Smith, a prominent sports media figure earning substantial compensation for his extensive work schedule and industry experience. Despite his professional accomplishments, his women's basketball coverage often contains inaccuracies and demonstrates apparent disregard for factual reporting. Smith's analysis suggested that Caitlin Clark attracts resentment partly through her own instigation, claiming she antagonizes opponents and referencing college incidents with Angel Reese. He alleged that Clark's confrontational behavior during college games provoked retaliation, citing face-waving gestures toward opponents. This narrative has been repeatedly debunked, but continues circulating in Smith's commentary.
And because they didn't do their job properly, all of the extra things happened during the game. And from that game, the most viral clip has to be Sophie Cunningham's hard foul on JC Sheldon that turned into a fight between the two of them. Like I told you guys, more players were involved. And this is what the Suns coach had to say about that foul. He said, "I do not understand. When you are winning the game by 17 points and you are doing this, to me, it's a stupid foul. This is just disrespectful, and I do not know how Lindsay Allen and JC Sheldon..."
Multiple sources, including Haley Van Lith, have clarified that Clark's celebrated gesture was directed toward her own coaching staff and bench, not opposing players. Community fact-checkers on social media platforms have added corrections to videos perpetuating these misconceptions. While Clark does engage in competitive trash talk and can display emotional intensity, spreading demonstrably false narratives about her behavior is problematic, particularly when used to justify aggressive treatment on court. Candace Parker recently provided relevant perspective on player relationships during an interview. She discussed her relationship with coach Gino Auriemma, clarifying that their dynamic represents mutual dislike rather than serious conflict. Parker emphasized society's acceptance of male athletes openly disliking each other, citing examples like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, while questioning why similar dynamics among women require extensive analysis.
Did not do their job. JC Sheldon pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye, and then Caitlin gets chucked to the ground by Marina Mabry. In the Indiana Fever, girls are just supposed to be like, yeah, no worries, no big deal. No one was ejected for that, but we're just going to play cool. No, finally someone was like, no, I'm going to stand on business. An intentional hard foul where she knew she wouldn't hurt JC Sheldon, but she sent a message. It didn't need to get to this point, though. It's the referee's fault. Where did they find these referees? Behind the cash?
Parker explained that her loyalty to Pat Summitt naturally extended to disliking those who opposed her mentor. She advocated for normalizing honest acknowledgement of personal conflicts without requiring elaborate explanations about ideology, politics, or superficial characteristics. Sometimes people simply don't like each other, and that reality should be acceptable. This perspective applies to the apparent tension between Caitlin Clark and JC Sheldon, who have competed against each other since college and seemingly maintained mutual dislike. Rather than creating elaborate theories about underlying causes, it's reasonable to acknowledge that some athletes simply don't get along. This dynamic also contextualizes Sophie's protective response toward her teammates. Following Parker's logic about loyalty, when someone targets your teammates, natural defensive instincts emerge. The situation reflects normal competitive relationships found across all professional sports.
Sheldon got ejected from the game when they did nothing. For me, it's just disrespectful to do that foul when you're winning the game by 17 points. Completely stupid. And I don't blame him for sticking up for his team. He is the coach. He has to do that. However, this wasn't just a random foul when you're up 17 points at the end of the game. To me, this was a foul to send a message. And it was a foul that was not just for everything that happened during this one game. It was also for all of the things that happened the last time the Indiana Fever played the Connecticut Sun. Because
player rivalries and personal conflicts add compelling drama to athletic competition. As long as safety protocols are maintained, officials control games effectively, and coaches manage their teams appropriately, these competitive tensions benefit the sport. Friendly animosity and protective team loyalty enhance entertainment value without requiring deeper sociological analysis. The incidents demonstrate the growing intensity and popularity of women's professional basketball, where passionate fan bases, increased viewership, and genuine competitive emotions create compelling storylines. Recent developments emerged regarding a controversial incident during a WNBA matchup. Social media discussions have sparked debates about racial implications, though the situation involved two Caucasian players, making such accusations questionable and difficult to comprehend.
Register at Sephora. They took nearly 20 minutes to review that play where Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye. And they came back and gave out 3 techs and 1 flagrant to JC Sheldon. If you guys don't remember, in the last game that the Fever played the Sun, JC Sheldon took out Sydney Colson's leg and was part of the reason that Sophie re-injured her ankle. So do I promote violence? No. But did somebody need to stand on business in this situation? Yes. All I know is there is about to be a lot more Sophie Cunningham fans after tonight.
The incident has generated numerous humorous internet content and comparisons to various fighting scenarios. Sophie Cunningham's actions have been characterized as defending her teammate Caitlin Clark, with many viewing this as an honorable display of loyalty and team solidarity. Commentary from Rachel Dementa highlighted significant officiating concerns. The referees failed to maintain proper game control from the start, allowing the contest to become increasingly physical without appropriate intervention. A particularly problematic sequence involved JC Sheldon poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, followed by Marina Mabray forcefully knocking Clark to the ground.
JC Sheldon was somebody who injured Sydney Colson and was part of the reason why Sophie Cunningham also got injured during that game. So I feel like it was just a buildup of things. There was a lot of stuff. Tensions were high. That was the moment for Sophie to commit a hard foul, and she did that. And most of the world agreed with her. Most of the world was fed up with everything that was going on the court. They're fed up with the refs. They're fed up with the physicality getting to a point where players can get injured. And a lot of people were like, you know what, finally.
The Indiana Fever players were expected to remain passive despite these aggressive acts, with no ejections issued for the initial incidents. Eventually, Sophie Cunningham decided to take matters into her own hands through what was described as an intentional hard foul that sent a clear message without causing serious injury to JC Sheldon. The officiating crew required nearly 20 minutes to review the eye-poking incident, ultimately issuing 3 technical fouls and 1 flagrant foul to JC Sheldon. Previous history between these teams includes Sheldon's involvement involvement in Sydney Coulson's leg injury, which contributed to Sophie Cunningham's ankle re-injury. Monica McNutt provided analysis of the situation during a television appearance. She explained the competitive history between the players, noting that J.C. Sheldon was the 5th draft pick from Ohio State, creating a long-standing rivalry with Caitlin Clark from their Big Ten Conference days.
Oh, now see, so I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm just saying. Sophie Cunningham stood on business. So all these damn petitions and all these little stupid things they're trying to do, these little freaking fines, we don't care about none of that. Now, just like Rachel said, your boy John Liquidator, I'm not condoning any violence whatsoever. But what I can tell you,
McNutt described Marina Mabrey as someone who functions as an enforcer within the league, emphasizing her high competitive level. The analysis included Lexi Held's involvement in defending her teammate Caitlin Clark during the altercation. The sequence showed the Indiana Fever leading by significant margins, with Clark successfully executing plays against Sheldon. The trash-talking element was acknowledged as part of elite competition, with Clark demonstrating her competitive nature throughout the game. Regarding Sophie Cunningham's hard foul on Sheldon, McNutt referenced her background from Missouri as someone known for aggressive defense, trash-talking, and intense play style. The officiating decisions resulted in ejections for Sophie Cunningham, Lindsay Allen, and J.C. Sheldon.
Finally, there's an enforcer on the court. People were calling her a hero, and her jersey completely sold out overnight. And this was something that I predicted. I actually put up a TikTok right after the game, and I said Sophie Cunningham's jersey is going to sell out. When I woke up the next day, I checked the website, and it was indeed sold out in every single size. And there was also this tweet from Front Office Sports. The Pacers and Fever are dealing with such high demand for their merch that their team store is temporarily limiting its online.
McNutt expressed mixed feelings about the incident adjudication, believing Cunningham deserved ejection while suggesting the other 2 players could have received technical fouls instead. She emphasized that competition isn't always clean and organized, acknowledging Clark's own trash-talking abilities as part of her competitive nature. Christine Brennan, a prominent WNBA reporter, expressed strong concerns about the treatment of the league's most significant television draw and corporate magnet. She emphasized that such incidents occur against someone who represents the WNBA's desperate attempt to advance and succeed in a male-dominated sports marketplace that treats Clark poorly.
Is that Sophie Cunningham stood on business and did the human thing to do, because the referees are a joke. They are a joke. A freaking joke right now, bro. A joke. A joke, bro. Just a complete joke, dog.
Brennan highlighted the importance of monitoring League Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's response to these events. The anticipation surrounding any official statement from the commissioner became a focal point, as several hours passed without any league communication regarding the incident. The absence of immediate league response contrasted sharply with previous situations involving other players. Historical precedent showed the WNBA's rapid investigation capabilities when dealing with certain incidents, particularly those involving Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, where investigations were launched within 12 hours. The delayed response to this particular incident raised questions about consistency in league oversight and disciplinary procedures. The expectation was that the commissioner would need to address referee performance and game management issues that allowed the situation to escalate.
Offerings. They said it's impossible to prepare for something like this. We've been getting 1,000 orders per night. And this is just another instance that proves how loyal the Indiana Fever fans are. They sell out arenas, they run up the viewership anytime the Fever is on television, and they put their money where their mouth is, and they buy merch, they buy jerseys, they support the players that they love. I also predict at this point in time, I bet you Sophie Cunningham gets into the All-Star game as well, because voting also has a big.
The incident occurred within the broader context of intense WNBA competition, where physical play and emotional responses are common elements. The relationship between draft positions, conference rivalries, and professional competition contributed to the underlying tensions that manifested during the game. Player backgrounds and competitive histories provided important context for understanding the motivations behind various actions. The combination of past injuries, previous encounters, and ongoing rivalries created a volatile environment that eventually resulted resulted in the altercation. The situation highlighted broader issues within WNBA officiating standards and league management of player safety. Questions arose about referee training, game control protocols, and the balance between allowing competitive intensity and maintaining player protection.
Like, I just got to keep it real. On so many levels, they're a joke. Now, Monica McNutt did do something today, which I'm trying to find now. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because she was in the news.